Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Kamusta Kayo. Today we're going to be reacting to most mysterious discoveries in the Philippines. So how have you all been? I know it's been a while. Been busy, been traveling around. So and I'm not yet back to Ukraine with Indy, so I'll still be reacting alone for now. So pardon us for that, but we'll soon be together very soon, promise. So let's get started.
The country of the Philippines is made up of 7,641 islands in the Pacific Ocean, and you better believe there's much that hasn't been explored here. From strange mummies discovered in caves to evidence of the Pygmy people, here are the most mysterious discoveries in the Philippines.
Hey guys, it's your host for today, American Eye. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to Titanic, and if you like today's content, be sure to check out my channel, American Eye. We'll see you there.
The Oton funerary mask. This golden death mask we see in this photo was discovered in the 1960s in the Philippines and is believed to have been made from the late 14th century to the early 15th century AD. The mask consists of 2 sheets of gold and was delicately crafted using pointed tools to create an elaborate design. Nothing like this has been previously recovered from this country. The idea of using gold to cover the face during the afterlife was likely imported from China to the city of Oton. This meant that ideas and traditions were easily shared to the citizens of the city. Angono petroglyphs. With all the caves in the Philippines, it seems to make sense that they would prove to be good shelters for Neolithic humans. The Angono petroglyphs are found in the northern part of the country and were created sometime around 2000 BC. The rock art displays images of humans, frogs, lizards, and other interesting designs that are open for interpretation.
Really
over time, erosion and vandalism have made them a little bit difficult to see, but nonetheless, a national treasure for the nation. They were discovered during a field trip in 1965 by several Boy Scouts, and it quickly gained much attention by the government. Due to the complexity of the carvings, it suggests that more than one individual was responsible for them, and images were made for the healing process. Artifacts were also discovered in these caves that include remains of giant turtles, tusks, obsidian tools, and other fossils. The shipwreck of the San Diego. San Diego was a name given to a Spanish galleon that sank in the 1600s, causing 259 people to lose their lives. The ship was discovered in 1992 off of Fortune Island in Batangas. They certainly found some remarkable artifacts within. The boat was armed to the teeth with 197 cannonballs, 14 cannons, 31 sword fragments, and some priceless Spanish armor. What's interesting about this shipwreck is that many people on board were actually Japanese refugees who converted to Christianity and wanted sanctuary in Manila. That's why some samurai swords were actually discovered too. The underwater French archaeologists found a total of 34,407 artifacts. You better believe they struck it rich in the process. Many bones were also uncovered, believed to be the remains of the unfortunate crew. It's believed that the Spanish ship clashed with a Dutch ship known as the Mauritius and obviously lost. Yamashita's gold. During a time when Japan controlled much of the Pacific, much gold from monasteries and other places was melted down and turned into gold bullion. Many believe that a large stockpile of gold was thrown out into the Pacific or somewhere near the Philippines to keep allies from getting to it. Many of those who knew about the gold were silenced to prevent the secret of the treasure from getting out. It's hypothesized that a ship carrying a large amount of gold from Singapore was shot down by American submarines while trying to reach the mainland of Japan. The rumors of the gold have inspired many treasure hunters. There have also been claims made by Imelda Marco that her husband Ferdinand Marcos was actually rich after finding some of Yamashita's gold. World's biggest bat. The crown flying fox is actually not a fox at all, but an extremely large fruit bat that lives in the Philippines. This mega bat makes itself home in the rainforest there, and it's been seen with a wingspan of a horrific 5.9 feet. The biggest one to have been verified measured in with a 6-foot wingspan and must have frightened biologists. Not only that, they can weigh about 3.3 pounds. These giant bats are currently endangered due to overhunting in Southeastern Asia, not just for their size, but for food as well. Can you believe someone would actually eat these things? Kabayan mummies. Dark caves in the Philippines house one of the creepiest ancient necropolises known to man. The Ibaloi people were an ancient race who lived in the southern Pacific before the arrival of the Spanish. They were known for a ritual that involved smoke in order to mummify their remains. The deceased were exposed to smoke for long periods of time, and then once they were done with this, they would put them in a cave here, which is located about 200 miles north of the capital city of Manila. Here in this photo, you can see how well this preservation method has worked over hundreds of years. This is how they earned the nickname the Fire Mummies. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. This famous tourist attraction consists of variously shaped hills on the middle of the island of Ahoy in the Philippines. Here you'll discover 1,200 uniquely shaped land masses, which are spread for an area of 50 miles. You'd almost want to believe they were man-made by the looks of them. What's also interesting about this place is the abundance of fossils that were found here. Many of them were prehistoric ocean creatures such as coral, algae, and various mollusks. It was formed from the uplift of coral deposits millions of years ago, but locals have their own theory. The locals believe it was a result of giants throwing stones stones and heaving large amounts of sand at each other. After the fighting was over, the giants became friends. Whatever the case may be, it's a place that many find to be mysterious. New Human Callao Cave. Is it possible that some of the first humans inhabited the caves of the Philippines? Scientists are pondering the possibility after a rare discovery took place at the Callao Cave system in the northern island of Luzon. Evolution in Asia has always been an interesting and complicated subject, but this just made it even more complicated. The skull remains are carbon dated between 50,000 to 67,000 years ago. The discovery could possibly rewrite the history books, pushing the clock back 20,000 years ago when humans began to enter Southeast Asia. This slightly goes against the out of Africa theory, which states that human origins are descended from humans in Africa and came from one region. The skeleton was dubbed as the Homo luzonensis in April of 2019. The Laguna Copper Plate Inscription. The Laguna Copper Plate Inscription is the oldest of any calendar-dated object found in the Philippines. It was discovered by a worker near the Lumbang River in the Laguna province. It displays a mix of the old Malay language and was eventually deciphered by a Dutch anthropologist named Antoon Postma in 1992. Many historians believe it proves trade, cultural, and maybe even political ties to the Midang Kingdom of Java. It also displays the influence of Indian culture to the area. The copper plate measures about 8 inches by 12 inches and was made by heated metal words being pressed into it. The inscription discusses the payment of a debt that was paid with in gold. Hanging coffins of Sagada. Various forms of hanging coffins can be found in Asia throughout countries such as China, Indonesia, and of course the Philippines. Well before the arrival of the Spanish, these coffins were placed unconventionally by tribes who were native to these lands. The practice dates back over 2 millennia ago under the belief that the higher that they go, the closer they are to their ancestors and the afterlife. People fear that burying their loved ones underground might not let it be preserved too well. Some people still choose to follow this practice, but it's quite rare to find. Another reason was so that no one could reach them, but if they got buried up there, then there had to have been a way to reach them somehow. In any case, it's fairly grim. The Manananggal jar. This jar we see here might not look like anything out of the ordinary at first, but considering that this thing is actually 2,900 years old, it's quite remarkable. It was discovered from a Neolithic burial site found in the Tabang Caves in Lipun Point in Palawan. The 2 little figurines at the top of the jar are actually meant to represent the journey to the afterlife. It is considered to be one of the finest Philippine pre-colonial artworks ever discovered, and is designated as a national treasure. Ancient Philippine religion suggests that the journey to the afterlife consisted of getting on a boat and passing through different rivers. This seems strikingly similar to other mythology at that time, like in ancient Greece. It was first discovered by Dr. Robert Fox in 1964 while excavating the Tabang Cave system. The creepy part about this discovery was that there was actually human bones found inside that were all painted red. Some even theorize that the figurines on the boat aren't even Homo sapiens at all. They believe that they're actually Homo florencensis, who would have been only about 4 feet tall and are colloquially known as the Hobbits. The Golden Tara of Agusan. The golden figurine we see here was discovered on accident by a woman in 1917 when she was near the banks of the Wawa River. It turns out to be from Indian origin and displays a Hindu deity. Not long after it was discovered, it was proclaimed as the most spectacular find made yet in Philippine archaeology. The Gold Tara of Agusan weighs nearly 4 pounds and made of 21 karat gold. It's not on display in the Philippines like you'd imagine, but actually at the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago, USA. There is much mystery that shrouds this artifact as to how it got to the Philippines in the first place. The Underground River, Philippines. Also known as Puerto Princesa Subterranean River, this strange body of water is located in a protected area within the borders of the national park, and it's pretty creepy. This recently discovered river was found in 2010, and many are calling it a natural wonder of the world. There are many parts of this underground cave system that have yet to be discovered. The lack of oxygen makes it somewhat difficult to explore, but those who have been through this cave will tell you that there are waterfalls deep within. Don't be afraid to come across some bats either. No one seems to know how big this dark cave is and how many more times the river breaks up, but if you get creeped out by spooky underground rivers like this one, it's probably best you don't find out.
That was a lot to take in. I mean, it's literally, especially the mummies. I was thinking it's mainly Egyptians that mummified their dead ones. I never knew it was a common practice in the Philippines as well. And then there were so many other things that you wouldn't think you'd find it in a place like the Philippines. But I guess the thing is, the cultures can get, I mean, maybe from one place to another. Maybe some people travel from one place to another and start practicing the same thing, influencing the people they met there and stuff like that. I feel maybe that's basically how all these practices gets from one place to the other, because I don't see how people living in different places can get to practice the same thing that is being practiced elsewhere without these communications, I think. All right, that was really interesting. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, like and comment, and I'll see you all later.